everybody. It's Kyle coming to you live from Austin, Texas. I'm here joined by the lovely Dr. Leslie of Make Awesomeness. And just before I get to her, we spoke with her last year and got tons of insights in the design world and what's going on. And so today we're going to talk about that and a little bit more. But first, Leslie, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Leslie, we, before we get into anything too deep into design, let's tell the audience a little bit about what Make Awesomeness is and what it represents, in case they weren't able to tune in last year.
Sure. Make Awesomeness and Do Good is kind of this idea of how do you figure out what your passion is and your purpose in life, not just in your personal life, but also in your professional life, and then make a promise, a commitment to yourself and to the world and to others to actually do it. And that's the fourth P in the map for awesomeness, which is pursuit. So it's passion, purpose, promise, pursuit.
So what would be one of those that you would create to make a commitment to?
So for me personally, so my commitment has been to really connect community, industry, and education. And so the current project I'm working on, it's got a couple of code names. One is Project Insanity, because you kind of have to be insane to do what we're trying to do. And the other one is the Unicorn Institute.
I would say for branding and marketing, you might want to go with the Unicorn Institute.
Yeah, it does work, but it's good to, when you're doing something that's insane, it's good to just admit it so everyone else knows that you know.
That's true, and I mean, it just puts it out there like, we're wild and crazy, we're going to do this, and we're going to rock it, and we're proud of it.
That's true, but yeah, the Unicorn Institute is our code name. I'm working with Jared Spool, who's a user experience guru, and we are working together to really look at the way education is currently for designers. Which,
and sorry to interrupt, but which, if I'm correct, there's not very much of in terms of the private sector, and what is there available in the public sector is probably in the traditional sense of education, such as professors and everything else.
So right, there are a lot of design schools, and there are a lot of also schools that have art and design programs, but a lot of them don't look at user experience design in a very holistic way. So they might create designers that can design really wonderfully looking things, but they're not given the opportunity as students to actually go through the build cycle. And as any designer or developer will tell you, that's where everything changes. So we're really looking into more project-based experience for students.
So, I mean, you guys want to take it from the level of, oh, here I know how to create a Photoshop file, to here's how I can actually be creative and put thinking behind my designs and put it in a real-life situation.
That's right, and have real-life clients that have real needs, real budgets, real different kinds of constraints, and have students really understand those, meet them, excel at them, also struggle. And because
we all succeed and we all fail, and it's how we get back up is what determines it.
Yeah, and in traditional academic environments, a lot of times you're not allowed to fail. Like you've got to do really great to keep that scholarship, or to I don't know, for whatever reason you just feel like you can't fail. But failure is a lot of times where we learn from. So it's okay to fail as long as you are being walked through that process with a facilitator, somebody who's been around the industry a long time that can say, well, yeah, this is where you're failing. These are some of the solutions that could help maybe make you succeed better, or like go back and go, where did this start going wrong? And that's a huge part of the learning process.
Well, that's great. And I mean, as we talked last time, I've done design, I've done development, and even in my experience in helping others and watching others grow, it really is about the failures and having someone there to guide you, as opposed to just telling you the basic theory and you getting a D or a D minus on a grade and you not actually learning from the experience.
It's true. So grades don't mean a lot of things to a lot of designer developer people. I don't think any of us really do it because we're like, oh, we wanted to have good grades in school.
Well, and sorry to interrupt again, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. And the thing about design, and even on development, but more so on design, is there really isn't necessarily something that you fail at. You may try something in terms of just a design and put the incorrect typography, but may have created something even better that you could be using down the road.
Yeah, and it's understanding the differences of that, and it's really working with the client. You do fail if your end product doesn't meet the needs of the client. Like, that's a failure. And so it's less about which design choices. It's more about, did this thing actually make the lives of the client better?
So are you guys, do you guys already have a list of those partners that will be on board, or, are you guys looking to have kind of, agencies or just random clients submit the opportunity to be a part of the program to have people work on things?
So we're working with kind of blue chip companies, which surprises a lot of people. They're like, wait, what about the startups, and what about Facebook, and what about Google? Well, guess what? It's easier for those companies to hire user experience designers. They have the money and the name recognition too. But what a lot of times people don't realize is that like JP Morgan Chase does really interesting things. But as designers in a design school, you don't necessarily go, well, that's where I want to land. But then once you realize that their team is so smart and that they actually use like a real banking space to try out their mobile apps, and they're watching people go through it, like regular customers. I don't know, it's just so exciting, and they're trying to solve the needs of their users, which is really cool.
Well, and as we talked a little bit off camera, but we'll now talk about it on camera for all those that weren't next to her and I when we were talking. User experience specifically is such a growing opportunity and job market out there right now. I mean, it's something that we're finding more and more useful for companies are, at least. Have you guys seen any real growth, or are you guys going to be tapping into that?
Well, what's really exciting is that design and development, they're both fields together that are growing a lot. So currently in the US, there's about 150,000 job openings for UX designers. And design schools are doing really great jobs in many ways, but even if every single design school produced people that had the exact right fit, like had the right skills, it still wouldn't be enough to fill those positions. So in a time where the economy is shaky and everything's uncertain, there are these jobs that exist. People just don't know where they are or how to get the right kind of training to be prepared for them.
Well, what's exciting what you guys are talking about doing with the Unicorn Institute to help you out with it.
It's fun. The Unicorn Institute, I was going to say, you're going to say .com after it. Yeah, there's no "the," it's just unicorninstitute.com, but if people want to learn more.
Well, and what's exciting too is not only are you guys probably going to be, or not only are you guys teaching and educating, but also educating the companies themselves, because there are a lot of companies, in my opinion, that say they want UX or they want a UI designer, but have no idea what that means.
So it's been interesting. Since iPads started coming into the boardrooms and VPs of companies started looking at their own websites and their own apps, and they're like, well, this really stinks compared to our competition. They started understanding, people that had the available funds to make hiring decisions, they know it's important, they know design's important, user experience important, they don't know how to hire. And you get the questions like, if you could be any kind of soup, what would it be? And you're like, that is not the right way to hire.
By the way, if you could be any kind of soup, what kind of soup would you be?
I don't know, something without onion or garlic, because I'm allergic, so I don't really have the answer. I think it's such a crazy question, but or if there's one thing in your life that's not designed right, what would it be? And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many things wrong, I don't know where to start. But so we're really looking to help these hiring companies connect with the students, connect with industry experts, and to make sure that they have the right skills, knowledge, and tools to be able to hire the right kind of user experience designer for their company.
Great. And so, how long do you guys expect in terms of education? Like, am I coming in and taking a couple semesters? Is it a couple weeks? Like, what are you guys looking at on the education model?
So it's really interesting. We've been talking with these hiring companies, and there's a lot of great programs online that you can learn the tech skills. But what we realized when talking with the hiring companies is the soft skills are what are almost more important. They're like, anyone can learn HTML and CSS. Like, if you can read, you can figure it out. It seems complicated when you don't know it, but once you start understanding the rules of engagement, you can totally do it. But how do you teach empathy or working together in a collaborative team in a real environment, which is a professional setting? How do you teach that if it's just online? So we're looking at it being kind of a 2-year program that's really based on preparing our students, potential students, to be industry-ready professionals.
This is super exciting. I think it's going to have a great impact in the design world. Definitely going to have a great impact in terms of the business industry and just being able to help those companies hire out for the right jobs and help place people. So when can people sign up? When can this all kick off? And when do we go out of the awesome code name of Unicorn Institute into what might be a different name?
So we'll be seeing that transition hopefully at the end of the summer, and hopefully our first class could be in the fall. And if people want to learn more and just kind of be kept up to date, there is a quick little form just saying if you want to know more about learning or teaching, because we will be hiring facilitators. Yeah, so you have to be like a magical unicorn. You have to be the person that can do the project management and design and code to be a part of it, or just to kind of be a hiring company. If other hiring companies want to be involved, this is the time to do it, because you get to scout students for 2 years. And we're not talking traditional 18-year-old students. We think we'll have probably more 40-year-olds than 18-year-olds, like career shifters, veterans, like people that have a lot of grit and tenacity and just filled with awesomeness.
This is great. I'm super excited about this. One last question. We're here at South by. The rain has finally stopped. The clouds have gone away. It's starting to lighten up a little bit. What do you plan on doing with the rest of your time here at South by?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll just want to connect. I just want to find people that want to have really meaningful, interesting conversations. So if you're out there, come say hi, and just go to some really key programming. I will say the one thing I'm most excited about is Cory Booker is speaking tomorrow, and he's an awesome speaker. He makes me cry when he speaks. So I'm all about let's go watch Cory Booker.
So anybody, if you would like to connect with Dr. Leslie over here, feel free to send her a tweet. Reach out to her with makeawesomeness and theunicorninstitute.com, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't believe that was open, right?
I mean, how could someone not own that?
I don't know.
Anyways, guys, please definitely take a chance to reach out to Leslie. She's got an amazing knowledge in terms of design, UX, and just everything in between. However, probably don't reach out to her tomorrow when she's seeing Cory Booker, because she's going to be a little emotional. And other than that, totally reach out to her. Leslie, thank you very much, and I'm looking very much forward to the Unicorn Institute.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.